How are you a different player now than when you first came in, and your expectations for yourself coming into a very crowded room with great players? How have your expectations changed that you enter a year where you're one of the older guys?
Obviously, I came in with Chris and Garrett, so I seen how they worked. So obviously, I followed them and wanted to become what they are now.
Coach Hartline was talking about the younger guys chasing the older guys in the room. How do you do that? What do you see? What is it? What makes you want to get better from seeing how they do? How do you know how you do it?
Yeah, I guess I can say I'm an older guy, but I'm still gonna try to chase Marv and be where he is. Chase Chris, Garrett, them type of guys, Meg, Julian.
What have you seen out of the quarterbacks? You probably spent a lot of time with both those guys over the past year. You know, what do they do well? What has impressed you about each of them?
It's pretty neutral.
What is the biggest skill set that you have learned from an upperclassman here? Something that you thought you may have. I think when you get here, you have a certain confidence about your understanding of football. Since you've arrived here, is there a player that you've been working with as a teammate who has taught you something about the game that maybe you didn't know?
Marvin X.
What's that?
Marvin X and Meg. Really with them, I like my footwork because obviously I'm already fast. Just really my footwork. I'm getting my footwork better than
So explain that. What would that be?
I was just coming back to the facility every day and just working on my top ends. Just getting my feet right. I do that with Coach Hart too, so really just getting my feet right.
So can you walk us through what that means in terms of getting your footwork
like the top of the route, just our shin angle and our just like coming out of our like curls and hooks and stuff like that. So they're just a straight deep ball.
So it's minute details.
Yeah.
You were saying you're working on your route tree and you want to be more than just a deep threat. But what does it take to be a great deep threat, do you think?
Speed. Really, that's it.
Is that
Go through your first spring.
Tremendously. Like,
I
words really can't explain just how much I've developed.
If you get them, Clay
and
wants them,
physically.
Four wants them,
You know what
Tim
I mean?
wants them, Doug
Coach
wants
Hart
them,
just
Austin
making
wants
tremendous
them.
like
I mean,
adjustments as far
what's
as
that?
my just
I mean,
route running and things like
Get
that.
them here.
Like I came
what's
in
wrong with just getting them here?
more so as with running back experience.
I know,
pretty
but
much
it's
just building on
getting,
my own as a receiver.
It's getting a
but
little out of control.
just doing all the right
And
things.
I don't like
it's
that.
been a huge,
and I mean, if
huge slowdown for me,
if
especially.
you have to just
And
go
just,
where people are
it's a
only
huge
in
change,
there and
honestly.
nobody gets a chance to say hi to them.
With Julian and Mecca being out, I know they'll be back and they're returning starters, so maybe a year to the payoff. But do you young guys see opportunity here to maybe establish yourself for what you might have here?
Oh yeah, absolutely, definitely. That's been a goal for me, really, just becoming reliable, making routine plays, routines, just like Coach they always say.
Take any one of you.
And yeah, that's just answering the question. Absolutely.
Kaleb, just what do you feel like are the things that you can bring to this offense that maybe differentiates you from other players here?
Just my ability to just run after the catch, honestly. That'd probably be the number one thing, just what I could do after the catch. What else?
Folks, we have Jayden Ballard on the 20.
Plays, just making the big time plays, you know what I mean? As a big time player when it counts for real.
What was just the first year?
Development, mentally and physically, just as a receiver. Like I said, I play running back, and just making that transition over, just my footwork and everything like that, it's just a huge shift, and just absolutely like really coming off of like our winter workouts has been a huge shift. As far as like my speed and things like that, I feel way faster. It's just, even with my, what was it? Back in the summer when I came down, I had a knee injury. So it's like I didn't really get to like condition and do all the things with the team. So I was really pretty much on the bike and just working out and things like that. But now that I got spring and everything in the books, it's just, everything slowed down for me and I feel a lot faster.
Do you see yourself as someone who could do kind of like what Xavier was doing last year, where you could play some receiver, play some running back?
Absolutely. I mean, wherever I'm needed, I'm definitely able to step up. So, absolutely.
I know you've been doing some punt returns too. How much do you think you could be an asset in that role?
That's probably one of my first goals right now, is getting on punt return and making an impact there first.
Do you kind of see that as an opportunity? If hey, there's all this talent at receiver, punt return might be my opportunity to play my first big role here.
Absolutely, definitely. Yes, sir.
Kaleb, what's it like when you get here and you expect to learn on the field from Johnson for a year, and you know that he's a guy that everybody wants to be like, you don't have him on the field to learn from all year? What was that like for you then?
What was it like? I got a taste of it, honestly. Just fall camp, really just. I grasped so many things from him, from that, just those, you know what I'm saying, the weeks that he was there. And definitely everybody wants to see him play, obviously. But like I said, I took what I could from him, and that was really all I could do. Really.
I don't think anybody's going to compare you to Mark. The differences in size right now, but to be able to learn from Mark, watch him work. How easy is it to latch onto that and be able to work the way he does?
Oh, easy, 100%. Like, he's definitely a leader. I mean, just his mentality. That's probably the best thing about him, just his mentality. And the fact that he just falls in love with development. And that's just one thing just to look up to in itself. Just the way he's always here, like pretty much never leaves from here. And just always putting in work. So it's just a mentality thing that I definitely look up to him for.
Got to follow up on that. Not saying you don't work hard. Everybody works. You wouldn't be here if you didn't work hard to some level. But when you see a guy like that who literally never leaves here, does it maybe change your viewpoint and your mindset of how you need to approach this and how you can actually get on the field at all?
It changes it in a way. Probably reminds you of like certain things, just, you know what I mean, just to get back on schedule. That's probably really about it as far as the viewpoint on it.
Yeah, what do you see your role in this offense? I mean, obviously the offense has gone away a little bit from like the Curtis Samuel stuff and what always used to be called the Percy Harvin position around here. But that's sort of your specialty, right? You were a running back in high school. You can do things in a lot of different ways. Where do you see yourself fitting in this offense?
Definitely a four-down player. Somebody that's reliable, you know what I mean? Somebody that can be counted on. And similar to Jackson, honestly. That's probably the best comparison I can put it to.
Getting a chance to return punts, do you know how long it's been since anyone in Ohio State returned punts for touchdowns?
Coach Fleming was actually telling me about this, but I'm not sure.
2014, so
2014.
When you get back there, what is your mindset? Is it attack? Is it just catch it? I mean, how do you see yourself in that role?
Definitely get a jump on the ball, and I'm taking like any opportunity I could get.
Will you right now tell me that you're returning a punt for a touchdown?
Reis Stocksdale on the 30.
If I can,
Guarantee
yes,
it. He's guaranteed it.
Yes.
For sure. It's on the record, so for sure.
Coach, when you're coming into the position group that you're in at the school you're at the time of year that you're in it, can you go through the competitive nature of a spring here and why it's so critical for your personal development and competitive development to be on the field?
I mean, everybody's just trying to get better in the receiver. We're just trying to learn from the older guys and, see how they operate and just learn from them. And, when they leave, we take the field. I mean, when they leave, we'll take over the helm. I mean, so spring is just it's critical for our development so we can get ready for fall as well.
When you're a young player here, how do you fight through when you look ahead of you and you look at the guys that have more experience and they're, 5-star, 4-star, All-American caliber players? How do you fight through that early in your career of talking yourself out of those negative thoughts about wondering if you'll get there? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I mean, when I first got here, I in my mind, I knew that I wasn't ready to get on the field yet. Like I knew that I was going to come in and just work and just try and learn from the older guys. Like I said, learn from them and then take over.
When you start to feel like you do belong, you said when you got here, you knew you weren't ready. Was there a moment that's already passed, or okay, now I know I'm ready, or is it still in progress?
There's always room for improvement, so I'm not gonna say that I'm ready right now. Like I said, I'm learning from Marvin and X and Mech and Jude and those guys. So I mean, at this time right now, I'm not saying that I'm ready to take over the helm and stuff like that. But as I'm learning over the season and stuff like that, for sure.
What's been the biggest adjustment for you coming out of high school too? We don't really get a chance to talk to you guys that much. So for you in this last year, what's really been the biggest hurdle?
It's just fast. It's faster than high school. It's just really fast. Apart from that, it's just learning the playbook and trying to get signals and stuff like that. But apart from that,
How do you keep up?
how do I keep up?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all about mentality. Coach Hart preaches mentality in the receiving room all the time, and like every time we cross that red line, like everything it's nothing but football. So it's all about mentality.
What happens if you don't have that mentality?
It's not an option. You gotta have it. Whatever is going, like whatever you have going on, like outside the woody, like that shit it's just out of the window. You gotta focus on football. So.
Do you feel like there's real opportunities to establish yourself, especially with Julie in the back out, there's maybe more opportunity to go around?
Yeah, there's definitely more opportunities since those guys just started. So, obviously more reps, more experience. It's a good overall experience.
Is that how you guys may be approaching this for your younger guys?
Yeah, for right now, like we try to get as much reps as possible. Trying to get like help in any way we can. That's really awesome.
What was
There's the machine right there.
maybe the most difficult thing last year making that transition to college football?
I'd say the speed. It was a lot faster, and I mean, I thought I was prepared mentally, but looking at it now, like I've changed a lot, and I feel a lot better. Like going out there, and I feel more comfortable being in the offense.
So about what point in the season did that start to click for you?
I'd say goal practice is starting to really hit. Like them long weeks, that long week we had at practice, that's when I really started to change and like felt my body and the plays and my mental.
Why the number change?
I love 7. I feel like there's a lot of great legends, like Buckeye legends, there's 7. So, my high school number is my favorite number.
Are you playing Z right now?
Yeah.
That's what you've been the entire time you've been here, right? Why does that suit you?
I mean, they said Z is like the fast guy. I feel like I'm one of the fastest people in the field whenever I'm out there.
Kyion, when you talked to you when you were still recruiting before committing, I don't know if you would admit it, you're kind of a smaller guy.
Yeah.
You feel like the weight that you've added, the muscle that you've added, has benefited you a lot?
I feel like it's made me a lot faster. Like some people say adding weight like makes you feel like it makes you slow. I feel like it's made me a lot faster.
Get crunched one time in practice last year and realized, I got a problem.
A lot of times. Sorry, it happens.
So, I don't know, does that kind of motivate you? Like, hey, I know I need to add some weight now. Like, it's one thing to say, I probably should have a little weight, but you feel it in the practice and it's kind of real. Like, I got to add a weight.
Yeah, it makes you want to lift more. It makes you want to eat more. Like the first time you get hit, you're like, dang, how am I supposed to do this? At 175, I got to do this. I mean, what making them are doing really helped me a lot.
I feel like you made the progress that you needed to this winter.
Yes, sir. Good.
What is it actually like being in that wide receiver? There's a perception of it when you get in here and when you're a recruit, why you want to sign up for it. But is it as easy as it looks on Saturday?
Folks, we have Gabe Powers on the 30.
I mean, I don't know how to explain it. It's more of like you just got to be here to see it. Like to witness Marv, to witness Xavier, to witness JB, Emeka, Junior, like to see all these people. Like the way Coach Hart put it is, like we're trying to be with them, we're trying to get with them. And for me, like you just have to witness it, to see it.
The idea of that is great, but does it in any way come with a reality check once you get here? What it actually takes to do some of those things?
Oh yeah, it does. It does. There's a lot of extra work that's put in behind closed doors that nobody really sees, and that's really like why half these people are where they're at now. Like as of right now, Reis and Marv catching Jug, like right behind me. Like there's a lot of things that you have to do to get to there.
Is some of the adjustment Is that learning how to work at that level that maybe you haven't had to work at before?
I mean, for guys like you're in high school, it's easy, right? And then you expect that it's going to be harder when you get here, but then it's even harder than you could imagine. At what point in that process do you have that make or break decision in your head?
I'd say, like, I don't know. It kind of started in spring for me. Like when I first got here, like it's either you're gonna do it or you're not. And if you're not gonna do it, then you're not gonna be out there. So that's kind of like when you start to realize, I got to get on top of it. I got to start doing my stuff. And like I said before, if you're not gonna do it, you're not gonna be out there.
Now, you change numbers. You go back to the high school number 7. That puts pressure on you. You know who's the number 7 around here. I'm sure that you've looked. What does that say about your mindset heading into this?
I feel like that I want to be one of those guys to help my team in any ways possible. Like I'm talking to coaches and like finding roles that I can be put in to like make sure that I help in any way.
What are some of those roles?
Maybe special teams, could be subbing in. Like I'm trying to help them in any way possible. I want to make sure that they see me out there.
When you look back at guys that were here before you, guys like Johnny, who obviously John Dixon, like him, Paris, Terry, like all those guys made their first 3-4 years here on special teams. Is that part of that process, like maturation?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Just to say, like, I'm going to be out there and I'll be the best I can be at that.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to they have to trust you with a job, and then after that, once they trust you with that job, then you can get more jobs, and it just keeps adding. You just have to be good at like whatever they put you at.
Have you seen a different approach from Kyle and Devin now that they're competing for a starting job in comparison to last year?
Hey, I ain't got no comment on that. Those are both my guys. I appreciate them both. They're both really good quarterbacks, and yeah, I ain't got no comment on that. You gotta ask those guys.
You talked about adding weight you felt like is actually adding speed for you. Is it a matter of like explosion that you feel like you have more fast twitch coming off the line?
More explosion, I would say.
Yeah. So does that also then help in route running and getting in and out of breaks?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like I can get out a lot faster now.
Here this next week, but how's the spring been these last few weeks? How's the off season since the end of the last week?
It's been good. Getting back out there, feels good to get back out there. And just work on your craft to get better this spring. So it's been good to get back out there, though.
Awesome, and yeah, it looks like you're at the front of the line in some of these drills here. You're getting to follow Marvin. Just talk about your relationship with him. Just what's it been like seeing him, and just this past year for him? It's been huge.
Yeah, kind of really started talking spring ball last year, and when the Monarch got here, that's when we really started talking. So. It just kind of grew ever since then. We try to catch each other every day, and I'd say, his friendships definitely grew a lot. So it's good to learn from him too. So
about when did you guys start maybe coming out and using the Monarch and that machine just to catch?
I want to say around this time last year, the Monarch got here, and then during spring ball it started, and it's just continued.
It's been consistent for you guys. Yeah. You guys do it. How often? Maybe a week do you do it?
Try to do it at least every day, if not more than once a day. So before practice, after practice, and then later at night. So.
CJ was saying before Peach Bowl that you were a guy that has really impressed him. I mean, what does that mean to you to have CJ Stroud say that about you?
Yeah, I appreciate CJ. I mean, I love CJ. He was a great quarterback. So it means a lot for him to say that, for sure.
For you personally, what do you look at as what do you need to do to get on the field here?
Really, I just gotta get better at everything. Route running, just understanding defenses. Everything's involved, and then just being behind everybody to learn from them and taking stuff and going with that.
Is it challenging to be a walk-on in a room with guys like Marvin and Emeka?
Yeah, but we don't look at it like that. We're all in the room together. We're all brothers, so it's just kind of whatever's best for the team and go from there.
To see guys like CJ Saunders, Xavier Johnson, the roles they've carved out here, how motivating is that for you?
Yeah, it's definitely something you can look up to and try to do that same thing. But it's whatever's best for the team, you got to do. So,
how much does Brian Hartline create that culture where no matter how highly recruited you were, everybody feels like they have a chance?
Yeah, he mentions that, and it's kind of something you should believe in, and he believes in. So, it's, like I said, just whatever's best for the team, he's going to do. The team's going to do. So, from there.
Yeah, definitely have had a chance to think about it.
It's definitely crazy. I was kind of talking to Marv leading up into that moment, and just we were kind of recapping in Georgia. We would have given anything last year to even play. I'm in the CPA, and going into that game, I had a decent feel for how Coach Hart were going to use me, and I was just extremely grateful, and kind of was able to kind of see that full circle, and kind of remove myself from the present, and like I said, just really be grateful for the fact that as a walk-on, starting as a walk-on, going through all the hardships that I kind of talked about last year, I was now in a moment where I was actually going to be featured or used, and it was going to be something that I could maximize and have an impact or a role. So.
Is that one of those moments where you just put that in? If they do this exact thing, we can get them with this.
Yes.
And then to see it happen, to see it play out in the moment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh, they're actually doing this.
Yeah. So that actually, to be honest, that wasn't. That was something that CJ saw on the field. I said that. And CJ saw it, and we there was a look that we practiced against, and we knew that if we got that particular look, like you said, that we were going to execute it in that manner. So there was a quick conversation me and CJ had on the field. And we just decided that we're gonna take the middle and execute. And CJ threw a great ball. I think it speaks to CJ's cognitive ability to address defenses or whatever that may be. And he threw me a great ball. All I had to do was catch it.
Cam, let's wrap that one up.
To see yourself do what you did against Notre Dame, what you did throughout the season, and do it against Georgia. How much confidence did that give you going into this offseason, knowing that a bigger role is coming this spring and maybe even into this fall?
Yeah, I would say it definitely allowed me to be confident in a sense, but it also just allowed me to work. I'm a guy who kind of builds confidence off of the work that I put in, and so going into this season and that potential for growth and role in offensive role. It just has given me more hunger, allowed me to, go back to the basics and, really solidify my foundation in order to execute and play at the level that I desire to play at.
Let me ask you a basic question. Why did you decide to come back?
It was a lot of conversation, a lot of prayer, a lot of, trying to glean information from people who've been there. CJ Saunders was a big person I talked to, and talked to people like Ryan Stamper, people who I've developed relationships with and have a lot of trust in. I had a lot of conversation with them, and Coach Day and Coach Hart. They talked to me, and they had laid out a plan that they had for me, and I was very comfortable with the plan that they had set before me. And I just kind of felt like there was some more meat left on the bone. I think that there's still a couple of things that I want to do at Ohio State, and I feel like all those things are within reach. And so coming back was kind of, I think, was the best choice for me. And I think that I can really help this team this year.
What is the plan?
The plan is simply to continue to enhance, enhance me as a player, enhance me as a leader, enhance me as, whatever that may be. And I just feel like through a lot of prayer, I felt like there was still some maturation that needed to happen in me personally, spiritually, all that. And I think that the decision to come back has allowed me to mature, and on field, off the field, a lot of things. But kind of going back to what he said, it's also allowed me to have some more confidence and build that confidence out. Yeah, I feel like I've kind of talked about this before, but so when I came as a walk-on, of course, I had high hopes for myself. I really had hopes for myself, and I thought that I was going to come here and take the world by storm, and that was my goal, to take the world by storm. But when it didn't happen, it did get bleak for a minute, and so kind of lost that the same desire for a second. But I was blessed enough for have great people in my life, have a strong foundation in my faith, and a lot of my prayer led me to the fact that I was just going to keep hitting that rock, and so I think finally when I came out on the back end, I wasn't necessarily surprised, but I was definitely grateful, and I was able to do it in a way in which I had, the Lord as my I guess the thing that gets the glory in the end instead of myself.
A lot of people don't hear about it. There's also a lot of people who want to hear about it. You lose CJ, you lose Cam, two guys who seem like kind of the spiritual leaders of the team. Are picking up that? You carrying that now, or how does that work in the locker room?
I definitely think, those are two great men of God, and they're two men who are vocal. They're very charismatic, very outgoing, and they did lead in a great way. And so I do think that is a role, it's a position that I desire to fill, but I feel like it's something that has to be natural, has to be, it can't be forced. So, stepping into that role, I desire to do it in a way in which, like I said, it's not me who's now the spiritual leader, but it's, God getting the glory and using me type of thing. So I think that it's just going to have to be me, allowing myself to go lower and allowing Jesus to be exalted. And in that way, if the Lord sees fit, then I'll step into that role.
I'm not sure how to transition. You lined up in the backfield at times last year. Some of the stuff that maybe we all thought that Jackson would be doing throughout the year. Do you see that role expanding? And a wide receiver playing running back or a running back playing running back, you don't really know what you really are. But you lining up in the backfield, somebody like you lining up in the backfield, do you think that's something that you guys can really tap into in this offense? I think that Coach Hart and Coach Day together, they're the most genius offensive minds that we could have. I think we have a great infrastructure. They have a phenomenal understanding of how defenses work and how they're moving and how to attack them. So I think that Coach Hart and Coach Day, if they see it fit, I think that is something that could potentially be done. But I think that's completely in their ball court. I'm going to come out here and do what they ask me. Try to continue into the hands, going back and recapping with Coach Hart, and from there, I think that we'll see exactly how it transpires. You've been here as long as those guys have. Why not draw some stuff up in the dirt? Like, hey, I got something for you.
Yeah, I always joke about having a couple, suggestions, but like I said, they're far more esteemed, far more accredited than I could ever be. So I'm just trying to learn as much as I can and be a sponge.
What do you think Coach Hart brings to the equation as OC?
I think that he brings kind of just a fresh set of eyes. Like take you back to like high school or something. You're writing a paper, and you feel like it's the best paper you've ever written. You turn it in, and it's like there's just grammatical mistakes all throughout it, and it's like, dang, what happened? Like, how did I miss that? Like, and there's like blatant grammatical, errors. I think that's kind of Coach Hart. Like, but if you would have had somebody else come and read the paper, they may have seen it. You know what I mean? So I think that's kind of what Coach Hart can bring to the table. He has a fresh set of eyes. He's very offensive savvy, and he kind of brings a different dynamic than Coach Day. Just from the standpoint of he's new to the role. Exactly. So I think that like just that in general will be beneficial. I think that Coach Hart has a great wholesale understanding of the game. He played it at a high level in college, high school, obviously, in the NFL. So passing game, different things like that. He just he can grasp it, and he has a great grasp on it. Not saying that Coach Day doesn't, but like I said, he kind of can add that player aspect as well, which will help us, I think.
Would be back to the leadership stuff you're talking
Hey, folks,
about.
we have Reed Carrico on the 30.
Why does that matter so much in your team? How do you feel like that could be a huge thing for you?
Yeah, so last year, I think that we had one of the closer teams that we had. It was one of the closer teams that I've been a part of, and I think that anything that you do, anything that you accomplish, any goals that you have, they have to start with the head coach, but everybody has to buy in. If people don't buy into it, or they're trying to preach something different from what the head coach is saying, then you don't have cohesion, you don't have the close-knitness, and there's like a kind of a revolt mindset within the players. So I think that the pivotal thing with leadership is in order to be on one page and in order to move
in a synchronized manner. You have to first believe what the coach is saying, but to try to live that out. And so I think that was a big first thing. And so we had some great leaders leave, and there's roles that need to be filled. There's people like CJ that we got to replace. People like Cam, who he was probably one of the better leaders I've ever been around, if not the best. And he led in a way that it was unconventional. It wasn't necessarily what he wanted to do, but I think that's what made him so great and so different of a leader. So I just think that the need for that is there. It needs to be filled, and we have to fill it in order to be a great team.
You want to be one of the guys who control that.
100%. I think that I've been here. I've been blessed to have an experience that I can speak in different lights to different people. I think that I have been through enough and seen enough football that I can coach up. And I think that's kind of I think that's a step that I can take and coming back for my 6th year. And so I think that's something that the Lord has for me. And so just that boldness and that ability to speak out and, call out, not out of, trying to tear somebody down, but trying to call somebody higher. And so out of love, and that's the main thing.
Can you kind of give your impression that Devin and Kyle's quarterbacks?
Mm-hmm. I think that they're both very talented guys. I mean, they were highly touted coming out of high school, highly sought after. I think that both of them have, a chip on their shoulder, trying to become that guy. And that's not anything against each other. There's no bad blood. Like, you always see them together, you always see them laughing, smiling together. But that's just something that's why we come to Ohio State. And it's the hard part about being at Ohio State, because there's the brotherhood that, tight-knitness, and we love each other, and we go through a lot with each other, we bleed, sweat with each other. But at the end of the day, you're in the most competitive environment in the world, and the most competitive environment in the country, playing at the highest level you can in college football. So I think that both of them have definitely the it factor is kind of just going to be, who can, I don't want to say that. It'll just be who can, I would say, sustain for longer.
How are they different? Just personality, quarterback style, whatever.
I think personality-wise, they're really similar. Personality-wise, they both, they're around each other a lot, and when you're around each other a lot, you pick up on some mannerisms and different things like that. So I wouldn't say personality-wise they're not too much different. I think that on the field they're both learning their way, and that's something that comes from not being, the guy for the first couple of years. You got to learn, you got to be cultivated, you got to do a whole bunch of things, and you can't try to emulate the guy that came before you, or you lose yourself. And that's, they got here being themselves. So I think that identity on the field is still being developed, is being enhanced, and I think that we're in for a great battle, and we'll see who comes out on top.
Can I get a Reis Stocksdale scouting breakdown from you?
Yeah, so Reis my guy. He's shoot. If you ever came back at night and you saw me and Marvin here, he's here with us. He's probably the person who set it up. And he's a hard worker. He's very fast, very explosive. All of that. He just, he's one of those guys who he comes to work every day. And so I would say scouting report wise, I think that he desires to get better. He's the hardest critic on himself. But I think that he has, at the end of the day, he has all the makeup and the fortitude and everything to be a great player. I think that it's just now the maturation process, which is different with everybody. And so I think that he definitely could be a great player. I think he's going to be a great player. Like I said, he has all the intangibles: run, jump, do anything you could ask for. I think right now it's just allowing that to translate to the field, which takes time.